partly driving the film is the feeling that the way people make assertions about suburbia is without character or aesthetic value, and therefore doesn't merit consideration. It's essentially a form of snobbery that is in some ways analogous to the ways in which people discuss films. Between mainstream and alternative filmmakers, there are often huge discrepancies about what film should or should not be, often leading to whole areas of film being marginalised or unfairly criticised. I don't believe that film has to be a perfectly shot and edited piece, continuous and seamless, but also nor does it have to stand in strict opposition to this, adhering to some self-imposed set of conventions or the manifesto of some collective. Sometimes a film can be equally as interesting if it has a more, shall we say, organic evolution. In the case of this film, we took 2 cameras and went and filmed our subjects, the place that you're seeing. In our minds was a rough idea of what we wanted to show, but even what we could consider our thesis was still being developed during production. We felt important that we should feel our way through this process and the post-production process, as to not try too hard to make footage fit into a very narrow thematic parameters. Thus we hoped we would avoid the overtly schematic approaches of some alternative filmmakers. And I think the slightly rough or indeed amateur level of finish which you're seeing is in keeping with the way in which we wanted to show the subject, this place, as being not perfect or infinitely beautiful, but certainly not flat or completely bereft of interest.
As Jack sort of stated before, went into this project with no real clear agenda, except to make Uxbridge look somewhat aesthetically appealing. It was also to do somewhat with making people see or view Uxbridge in a different, more positive way. In there, a new way of focusing on the minute aspects of the town, illustrating an alternative method of viewing one's surroundings. That was kind of like one of the central arguments that we came up with while shooting. Also while shooting, we also noticed something else about Uxbridge. We saw in another light this kind of concept of Uxbridge as a satellite town on the edge of London. But it's also on the edge of the rural, on the edge of nature. It's right on the edge of sort of M25, and everything past there gets a lot more rural. Therefore, within our film, you see sort of a juxtaposition between nature and the symbols of the suburban.